It was disappointing last week to see Syracuse football with their backup quarterback in Ricky Collins really struggle against a Duke Blue Devils defense, which up until last Saturday was not a very high ranked defense in the ACC. And I bring that up to let you all know that SMU, as of right now, through the first 4 games of their season, is not exactly an elite defense either. So this gives Syracuse's offense another chance and really an opportunity for this team to bounce back in general on offense. There's no real excuses anymore. None. Last week, you want to say, all right, Ricky Collins' first start. We all got to get, the growing pains out of Ricky Collins. I understand that. This week, now he's had another full week of preparation, another week of game tape, going over the tape with Fran Brown in his office following the loss to the Duke Blue Devils. This SMU defense is definitely gettable, and it's up to the offense to rise to the occasion because we'll talk about it later on in the show. I really don't have a lot of faith in this defense against the SMU offense. Let's go over the SMU totals, all right? Some stats for you all. So, you can actually believe what I am saying about this SMU defense, okay? Total points allowed per game, 26.5. That is 12th in the ACC. Total yards, nearly 450 allowed per game. That is 16th in the conference. They are only ahead of our beloved Syracuse Orange. And yes, we love our Syracuse football team, Syracuse fans, but they are currently dead last in the ACC in total yards. Thankfully, SMU is just above them at 450 total yards a game allowed. Rushing yards, about 115 a game. That's actually pretty highly ranked, 6th in the ACC. And they only give up about 3.2 yards a carry. That is 4th in the conference. Finally, passing yards allowed per game. You ready for it? SMU allows 334.5 yards per game through the air. That is last in the ACC. That's right. Through 4 games of SMU's season, doesn't mean it's going to hold up the rest of the way. They have the worst pass defense in the conference. So take a wild guess as to what I am going to say next about how Syracuse can exploit SMU. Take a wild guess. Oh, were you expecting me to say run the ball? No. Throw it. Throw the ball against this SMU defense. If they can't establish a passing game against SMU, I don't know what to tell you about Syracuse for the rest of the year. I really don't. I think it's very likely we go into this game and yes, Syracuse may lose the game, but if at least they can get their passing game going, we may have hope for the rest of the season. We might. At least they can show a pulse against an ACC team. But if they can't get going against an SMU defense that is last in pass yards allowed per game, I don't think they're going to make a bowl in 2025. I'm sorry, because then I don't know how they're going to be able to pass the ball against the other teams that they're facing later on in the season that are much better at stopping the pass versus a team like SMU. And it's weird that SMU has struggled against the pass this year because they're good at stopping the run. And usually if a defense can stop the run, that helps their pass defense significantly. Why? Because when you can stop the run on defense, that means you don't have to put as many players in the box. You can have more players in the secondary. And as a result of having more players in the secondary, guess what? Theoretically, your passing defense should be a lot better. For whatever reason, that is just not the case for SMU. This is the type of game where I'm expecting Syracuse's wide receivers. They're good ones, right? Jonte Cook, Justice Ross Simmons. We saw Emmanuel Ross a little bit against Duke. Get open, especially when they're facing one-on-one coverage. Get open. That being said, this SMU defense, they are very opportunistic. That I will certainly give SMU because they have forced, my math serves correct, 9 turnovers in 4 games. 9 turnovers. That includes 6 interceptions and 2 pick sixes right there. So SMU is the type of defense that I think Syracuse, assuming they can get decent quarterback play from Ricky Collins, they should be able to move the ball against this SMU defense. They shouldn't really have much of an issue. But it can change on a dime. It's one of those games where Syracuse could have 450 total yards of offense, be moving up and down the field, but they don't score a lot of points. And we're all asking, how come they didn't score a lot of points? Well, it's because they turn the ball over a lot. And for what it's worth, last week, Syracuse, they had 3 turnovers against Duke. I'm going to let you in on a little secret right now because coming up, we're going to talk about the Syracuse defense against this SMU offense. If Syracuse turns the ball over 3 times, their odds of winning are 0. 0. They have no chance. None. I mean, comment your thoughts in the comment section below. Agree with me? Disagree with me? You think Syracuse can win with turning the ball over 3 times on the road? 16.5-point underdogs? I don't think so. So SMU, very, very opportunistic defense, but it is a defense that will surrender yards, particularly through the air. And if you're Syracuse, at minimum, can you at least show a pulse in the passing game despite having a backup quarterback because your starting quarterback is not coming back for the rest of this season?